I, 38F, have always had a complicated relationship with my older sister Bridget, 42F. Growing up in our small Midwestern town, Bridget was the golden child, straight-A student, head cheerleader, president of the church youth group, everything our conservative parents wanted. I was the opposite, more interested in computers than church, focused on academics instead of finding a husband, and always questioning our parents' strict rules. The contrast between us started early. When I was 14, Bridget, then 18, caught me reading books about evolution and reported me to our parents. They made me attend extra Bible study sessions for months. That was just one incident of many. Bridget wasn't malicious, she genuinely believed she was helping me stay on the right path. But it created a distance between us that never really healed. Bridget married Tom, 45M, right after high school. She had their first child, Emily, 19F, at 23, followed by Jason, 16M, 3 years later. I went to college for computer science, moved to the city, and built my career as a software engineer. Our parents constantly compared us, holding up Bridget's traditional lifestyle as the ideal while viewing my choices with disappointment. Despite our differences, I maintained a relationship with Bridget's kids. Emily and Jason would spend summers with their cool aunt in the city, much to Bridget's discomfort. She'd call multiple times daily to make sure I wasn't exposing them to liberal ideas. I just focused on being there for them, especially as Emily started showing signs of struggling with her identity in her teens. The current situation exploded 3 weeks ago. Emily had just finished her freshman year at State College. She called me at 11 p.m., sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Bridget had gone through her phone while Emily was sleeping and found texts between her and her girlfriend Katie. Instead of talking to Emily, Bridget waited until morning and ambushed her at breakfast. According to Jason, who witnessed everything, Bridget started by throwing Emily's phone on the table and demanding she explain herself. When Emily admitted she was gay and had been dating Katie for 6 months, Bridget completely lost it. She started screaming about sin and hell, saying Emily was dead to her unless she agreed to conversion therapy. When Emily refused, Bridget told her to get out and never come back. Tom just sat there silently the whole time. Jason tried to defend his sister but Bridget shut him down. Emily packed a bag and fled to Katie's dorm, but the dorms were closing for summer break in 2 days. That's when she called me. I immediately drove 3 hours to the college, picked up Emily and Katie, and brought them both to my place. Katie's parents are supportive but live in another state, so I offered to let them stay with me until they figure out their next steps. Bridget has been blowing up my phone ever since. The real twist came yesterday. Bridget called crying about how Tom lost his job due to company downsizing. They've been living beyond their means trying to maintain their image of the perfect family, and now they're 3 months behind on their mortgage. Bridget asked me to lend them $20,000 to avoid foreclosure. I refused. I told her that money is going towards supporting the daughter she threw away. She started crying about how sisters should help each other and family comes first. I reminded her she didn't think family comes first when she kicked out her own child. Then I hung up. Tom messaged me saying they might lose the house. Jason would have to change schools. They could end up having to move in with our parents. He said I was being cruel punishing them when they're desperate. I blocked him too. Now Bridget is telling everyone who'll listen that I've always been jealous of her perfect life and I'm using this situation to get revenge. She claims I corrupted Emily during those summer visits. Our parents are backing her up, saying I'm tearing the family apart by encouraging Emily's lifestyle choice. Only our younger brother Mike, 35M, is on my side. He reminded me how Bridget outed his best friend to their parents in high school, destroying that friendship. Mike says Bridget hasn't changed, she just wraps her cruelty in religious righteousness. Emily is doing better but still processing the trauma. She alternates between anger and deep sadness. Katie has been amazing, patient, supportive, and clearly devoted to Emily. They're both taking summer classes at the local community college and working part-time jobs. I've told them they can stay as long as they need. Jason still lives with Bridget but secretly texts Emily daily. He's saving money from his weekend job, planning to move out the day he turns 18. Bridget has no idea she's about to lose both her children. I don't feel guilty about refusing to help Bridget financially. You don't get to throw away your child and then demand family loyalty. But the situation has divided our entire extended family. Most relatives have taken Bridget's side, saying I'm enabling sin. A few younger cousins support us but won't say so publicly. Emily feels horrible that she's ruining everyone's lives but I keep telling her this is all Bridget's choice. She chose hate over loving her daughter. Now she can deal with the consequences. Ida for standing my ground? Edit. Since people are asking, yes, Emily is legally an adult and Bridget can't force her to come home. No, Jason isn't in danger. Bridget's controlling but not physically abusive. Tom enables her behavior, but he's not violent. Emily has no interest in reconciliation unless Bridget fully accepts her and Katie. Katie's parents have offered to help them relocate for school next semester if needed. I'm financially stable and helping Emily isn't a burden. Update 1: The situation has exploded in ways I never expected. Yesterday started normally, Emily had morning classes, and I was working from home. Around 2 p.m., someone started pounding on my front door. Through the security camera, I saw Bridget standing there with our mother, both looking furious. I opened the door but kept the security chain on. Bridget immediately started screaming about how I'd turned her daughter against her. She demanded I release Emily and let her come home where she belonged. When I refused, she started making wild accusations about me brainwashing Emily and trying to destroy her family. Our mother kept saying I needed to stop this nonsense and convince Emily to return home and attend their church's youth counseling program. I told them Emily was an adult who made her own choices. That's when Bridget completely lost it. She started throwing herself against the door, trying to break the chain. I called the police while Bridget continued her tantrum. She was screaming so loudly that my neighbors came out to see what was happening. Our mother kept telling everyone I'd kidnapped Emily and was holding her hostage. When the police arrived, Bridget put on a dramatic show of being a distraught mother trying to save her daughter from her evil aunt. The officers separated us and spoke to everyone individually. Bridget spun some story about me being mentally unstable and having a history of trying to corrupt her children. Fortunately, I had Emily's texts documenting everything, plus video from my security cameras showing Bridget's behavior. Emily came home during all this and told the officers her side. The police warned Bridget about trespassing and harassment. They suggested she seek legal counsel if she had concerns, but emphasized that Emily was an adult who could live wherever she chose. Bridget left screaming that this wasn't over. Less than an hour later, Bridget sent a mass email to our entire extended family, church community, and even some of my work contacts she found on LinkedIn. She wrote 5 pages of accusations, claiming I'd been jealous of her perfect life since childhood and was now taking revenge by recruiting Emily into the homosexual lifestyle. She brought up every perceived slight from our childhood, like how I supposedly ruined her sweet 16 by getting the flu, or how I embarrassed her at her wedding by wearing pants instead of a dress. She even accused me of having unnatural feelings toward Emily, which made me sick to my stomach. The response from family has been intense. Our parents called to scream at me for destroying Bridget's family. Aunts and uncles have been sending lengthy texts quoting Bible verses about family loyalty and sin. Even cousins I haven't spoken to in years are messaging to tell me I'm going to hell. The only bright spot was a surprising call from Tom. He reached out privately to apologize for Bridget's behavior in the email. He admitted he's been struggling with how Bridget handled everything. Apparently, she's become increasingly extreme in her religious views over the past year, even switching to a more fundamentalist church. Tom revealed he's been secretly depositing money into an account for Emily. He said he feels trapped because of their financial situation. They're worse off than I realized. The job loss came after months of struggling. They've been putting everything on credit cards to maintain appearances. Bridget refuses to downsize or cut expenses because she's convinced God will provide. Jason is caught in the middle but standing firm with his sister. When Bridget found his burner phone that he used to contact Emily, she completely overreacted. She took away all his electronics, pulled him from the soccer team, and is making him attend daily prayer sessions with her new pastor. Tom is worried about him but doesn't want to leave him alone with Bridget if he moves out. Despite all this chaos, Emily is doing remarkably well. She's excelling in her summer classes and her part-time job at the local bookstore just promoted her to shift supervisor. Katie has been her rock through everything. They're talking about getting an apartment together once Emily has enough saved up. The hardest part for Emily isn't Bridget's rejection, she's almost made peace with that. It's watching her mother's behavior affect Jason. He's only 16 and stuck in that house for 2 more years unless Tom finally stands up to Bridget. Emily feels guilty about not being there to protect him, even though none of this is her fault. I've started documenting everything, Bridget's emails, the police incident, her harassment of Jason, just in case things escalate further. My security system now has cameras covering all approaches to the house. I've also warned Emily's workplace about potential disruptions. The saddest part is realizing this isn't really about Emily being gay. Bridget's reaction is about losing control. She built her entire identity around being the perfect Christian mother with the perfect family. Emily's disobedience shattered that image and she can't handle it. Instead of adapting and loving her daughter unconditionally, she's doubling down on her rigid beliefs. I won't back down though. Emily needs support and acceptance right now, not judgment and hate disguised as religious concern. If that means becoming the black sheep of the family all over again, so be it. Update 2: Everything changed last weekend when Emily and I made a shocking discovery that explains Bridget's extreme behavior. Emily wanted to look through old family photos to make a birthday video for Jason. Tom had secretly dropped off several boxes of Emily's belongings, including photo albums from Bridget's college years. While sorting through the albums, Emily found a hidden compartment in one of the older ones. Inside were dozens of letters from 1999 to 2000, all between Bridget and her college roommate Rachel. These weren't just friendly letters, they were deeply personal love letters that revealed a secret relationship that lasted almost 2 years. The letters detailed their secret meetups, their plans for the future, and their fears of being discovered. In one letter from December 1999, Bridget wrote about how terrified she was of our parents finding out, saying she'd rather die than disappoint them. Another letter from February 2000 talked about their dream of moving to California together after graduation. The last letter was heartbreaking. Bridget wrote about meeting Tom at church and how her parents were thrilled about him. She told Rachel she was choosing to live the right way and that their relationship had been a phase she needed to overcome. She begged Rachel not to contact her again. Emily was devastated. She sat on my kitchen floor for hours, reading and rereading the letters. It hit her hard that her mother had rejected her for being exactly what she herself had been. That her mother had chosen to deny her true self and was now forcing the same painful choice on her daughter. We debated what to do with this information. Emily finally decided to confront Bridget, not out of revenge but hoping it might lead to understanding. She scanned the letters and emailed them to Bridget with a simple message asking why. Bridget showed up at my house an hour later. This time she wasn't angry, she was completely broken. She collapsed in my entryway sobbing. Through tears, she admitted everything. How she and Rachel had fallen in love freshman year. How they'd planned a life together. How our parents' constant talks about sin and hell had terrified her into choosing normalcy over happiness. She married Tom just 6 months after ending things with Rachel. She said she thought if she created the perfect Christian family, it would fix her. That she could pray away her feelings. When Emily came out, it shattered all the walls she'd built around her past. Tom arrived shortly after, having received the scanned letters from Bridget. He was in shock. 20 years of marriage, and he'd had no idea. He asked Bridget if she'd ever really loved him. She couldn't answer. He took off his wedding ring and left. That evening, Bridget's mask completely cracked. She started ranting about demons and possession. She claimed Rachel had corrupted her in college, and now I was helping Katie corrupt Emily the same way. When Emily tried to hug her, Bridget recoiled and started praying loudly. Our parents arrived next, having been called by Bridget. Instead of helping, they made everything worse. They praised Bridget for overcoming her sinful past and suggested Emily could do the same. They talked about a religious retreat that cured people of homosexual tendencies. Bridget latched onto this idea. Within hours, she packed a bag and left for some religious compound upstate. She refuses to tell anyone exactly where it is. Her last message said she's going to pray away her past and won't return until she's clean. Tom is staying with Mike while figuring out next steps. He filed for separation and is finally standing up for Emily. He admitted he'd suspected Bridget was hiding something all these years but never imagined this. He's in therapy trying to process the fact that his entire marriage was built on Bridget's self-denial. Jason moved in with Tom and is doing much better away from Bridget's increasing religious extremism. The poor kid is angry that his mother chose denial over honesty, chose hurting Emily over healing her own past trauma. Our parents are somehow spinning this as Bridget making the right choice, again. They're calling the retreat her brave battle against temptation. They've doubled down on their homophobia, now using Bridget's past as proof that being gay can be cured if you try hard enough. Emily is processing all this with her therapist. She says understanding her mother's past helps explain things but doesn't excuse them. She's sad for the young Bridget who felt she had to deny her true self, but angry at the adult Bridget who's choosing to perpetuate that trauma instead of breaking the cycle. I found Rachel on Facebook. She's happily married to a woman in Seattle, with 3 kids and a successful dental practice. I haven't told her about any of this. Some parts of the past should maybe stay buried. Update 3: The situation has reached its final breaking point. Bridget returned from her 3-month religious retreat even more radicalized than before. Her first action was trying to organize an intervention for Emily at our parents' house. She invited extended family, her pastor, and even a conversion therapy counselor. Thankfully, Tom warned us about it. The Bridget who came back isn't the same person who left. She's completely immersed herself in extreme religious ideology. She spends hours daily on social media sharing anti-LGBTQ content and conspiracy theories. When Tom refused to attend her church's marriage restoration program, she filed for divorce, claiming he was choosing sin over salvation. The divorce has gotten ugly. Bridget demanded their house be sold and the money donated to her church's youth ministry. She tried to get full custody of Jason, claiming Tom was an unfit father for supporting Emily. The judge saw through her act and granted Tom primary custody, with Bridget getting supervised visitation that she refuses to use. Emily has completely transformed her life. She and Katie moved into their own apartment near the community college. Emily legally changed her last name to my maiden name, saying she couldn't bear sharing a name with someone who rejected her twice, once as a daughter and once as someone like herself. She's thriving in school, made the dean's list, and got accepted to finish her degree at a great university next fall. Jason turned 17 and is living his best life with Tom. He's back on the soccer team, getting good grades, and already applying to colleges far from home. The court mandated therapy for him, which has really helped him process everything. He and Emily are closer than ever, spending weekends together whenever possible. Tom sold their old house and bought a smaller place closer to me. He's been seeing a grief counselor to process the end of his marriage and the realization that Bridget never truly loved him. He and Mike have become really close. It's nice seeing them support each other through this. Bridget hasn't given up trying to control the narrative. She sends monthly handwritten letters full of religious propaganda and guilt trips. Last week she had her church group protest outside Emily's workplace. The store owner, whose own son is gay, called the police and got a restraining order. Our parents chose Bridget's side completely. They sold their house and moved closer to her new church community. They send occasional emails about praying for our lost souls but otherwise want nothing to do with us. Most of the extended family followed their lead. Surprisingly, this mass exodus of toxic relatives has been freeing. Our small family unit, me, Emily, Katie, Tom, Jason, and Mike, has grown stronger. We have weekly dinner gatherings, celebrate holidays together, and actually enjoy each other's company. Katie's parents often join us, treating Emily like a second daughter. Last month, Bridget's old college girlfriend Rachel reached out to Emily through social media. She'd heard about everything through mutual acquaintances and wanted Emily to know she was proud of her for living authentically. She shared how happy she's been since accepting herself, giving Emily a glimpse of the life Bridget could have had if she'd been braver. The irony is that Bridget's worst fear, her perfect family being destroyed, came true entirely because of her own choices. But from those ashes, we've built something better, a family bound by love and acceptance rather than obligation and denial. Bridget still sends flying monkeys to guilt us about deserting her in her time of spiritual warfare. We've blocked them all. Life is more peaceful without constant drama. Emily says she's done hoping her mother will change. She has all the family she needs right here. Sometimes the most painful endings lead to the best beginnings. We've all learned that sharing DNA doesn't make a family. Love, acceptance, and support do. Bridget chose her path. We've chosen ours. And we're all much happier for it.